So good news. Tulsi Gabbard got confirmed this week as Director of National Intelligence by the U.S. Senate. Oh, cool. Awesome. Absolutely great. And you know what's so funny? Hillary Clinton, the former first lady of the United States, and the former Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton said that Tulsi Gabbard was a Russian puppet, was a traitor to the United States, was an Assad puppet, and yet they kept giving her security clearances, very high security clearances, and she kept being given higher ranks in the military. But she's a Russian asset. It's almost like Hillary Clinton was making that up. And when Barry Weiss called her a Assad toady, it's almost like she was making that up. No way. I wonder why they didn't take her out of the military if she was an Assad or a Putin puppet.
The Senate voted Wednesday to confirm former Democratic Representative Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence. The vote was 50-48. Mostly along party lines, though Republican Senator Mitch McConnell of Kentucky joined the Democrats in opposing her confirmation. Gabbard, one of President Donald Trump's more controversial picks, faced concerns from several Republican senators over her lack of support for Ukraine. Her shifting position on the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, Section 702, a key surveillance and security tool, her 2017 meeting with former Syrian President Bashar with Assad, and her past support for Edward Snowden.
I don't know about you guys, but for those that watch this show, I'm sure you might agree, you might not agree, I don't know. But those last two couple of things where she met with Bashar al-Assad for peace and her support for Edward Snowden, who told us that the NSA was illegally spying on us and violating our amendment rights, where they can't search us without a warrant, no seizures or searches without a warrant. She supports him, wouldn't call him a traitor, and yeah, I think those things are good. And now that she's the DNI, I think she should bring him back. I think she should drop all charges against him.
There were some key Republican senators, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Todd Young. They ultimately decided to back her.
It almost seems like Trump knows how to use his power. Like Trump knows how to get what he wants out of these assholes.
Murkowski acknowledged in a statement that she still had concerns about certain positions Gabbard has previously taken, but added that Gabbard brings independent thinking and necessary oversight to her new role. Tulsi Gabbard now officially oversees and manages the entire United States. Just a couple of months ago, she was on the Quiet Skies watch list.
So she was on the Quiet Skies watch list, which means that she had people following her around and spying on her illegally at airports. If she was going to Hawaii just to, I don't know, relax on the beach, drinking pina coladas and eating some good chicken and rice, or if she was going to California to do a presentation, or just visiting her parents, they were illegally spying on her at every airport, on every airplane, at every landing, at every terminal that she went to. McConnell voted no on Tulsi Gabbard, but for Ratcliffe Haynes and James Clapper, he voted yes. And those idiots, in their capacities as directors of national intelligence, lied to Congress, lied to the House of Representatives, and lied to the U.S. Senate. But he confirmed all of them, but voted no to Tulsi Gabbard.
The nation should not have to worry that the intelligence assessments the president receives are tainted by a director of national intelligence with a history of alarming lapses in judgment.
Oh my God.
And trusting the coordination of the intelligence community to someone who struggles to acknowledge these facts is an unnecessary risk.
Even Bernie Sanders voted no. Bernie Sanders is a fucking war criminal. He's a cuck. He is owned by the CIA, who have the white trucks and the white vans outside of his house, who know about Jane Sanders, his wife's shady business dealings. Bernie Sanders is a fucking sellout. He voted for Marco Rubio, an obvious war hawk and warmonger and war criminal. Marco Rubio, he voted yes for him, but voted no for Tulsi Gabbard. And Tulsi Gabbard was the former vice chairwoman of the Democratic National Committee, the DNC. And she took a lot of blowback and backlash for backing Bernie Sanders and calling out the Democratic Party for rigging the primary against Bernie Sanders. And then she dropped her position and resigned as DNC vice chair so that she could support and back Bernie in 2016. And this is how Bernie Sanders repays her, because he's a garbage human being.
Ron Wyden made privacy and NSA FBI spying abuses central to his career, admitting Tulsi is great on that. Yet both voted no.
This is because they are party loyalists and establishment deep state criminals who agree with the deep state and have no fucking principles. So here's Bernie Sanders. Let's see what else good old Bernie has to say.
But he fears provoking rage among Democrats if he votes yes on Tulsi, despite knowing that anyone Trump nominated in her place would be far worse from his perspective because he's an opportunistic partisan coward, says Glenn Greenwald. U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders welcomed an endorsement by U.S. Representative Tulsi Gabbard of Hawaii. Congressman Gabbard is one of the most important voices of a new generation of leaders, Sanders said. As a veteran of the Iraq War, she understands the cost of war and is fighting to create a foreign policy that not only protects Americans, but keeps us out of perpetual wars that we should not be in.
That was Bernie then. Now Bernie's a fucking little bitch. He's a cuck. That's who Bernie Sanders is. He's all talk, no action. Oh, she's all for preventing war, and she knows the problems with war, and we should not be in these wars. But I'm not going to confirm her because I know that the CIA has got something on me and my wife. I'm Bernie Sanders, and I'm a corrupt piece of shit. Now let's watch another establishment bitch motherfucker, establishment puke, a piece of garbage like Sidney Blumenthal. Look at the fucking liar that he is, like Joe Biden was, by the way, and still is.
And confirming Tulsi Gabbard puts in place someone who has proven untrustworthy throughout her career, potentially an aide to Moscow, Beijing, Tehran, and others.
And he's saying this, by the way, while she holds high security clearances in the military.
And a big U.S. Senate race in Connecticut got blown sky high today when the leading Democrat in the race got caught in a lie over his military service.
No way.
Richard Blumenthal, who is the state attorney general, has said in the past he served in Vietnam. He did not. He served during Vietnam. The New York Times reports he received 5 wartime deferments, and he served stateside in the Marine Reserves. Today, Blumenthal said he misspoke.
I misspoke. I mean, I lied, but oh man, they caught me.
I will not allow anyone to take a few misplaced words and impugn my record of service to our country.
Problem with that is there's videotape of Blumenthal saying that he was in Vietnam.
So those are the absolute pieces of garbage, shit, trash, low-life scumbags that voted against Tulsi Gabbard, especially men like him, liberals like him, that lied about their service, and yet they attacked Trump for being a draft dodger. They say, oh my God, and then they nominated a VP that was a draft dodger. But that was okay. And yeah, Tulsi Gabbard is flawed. Bobby Kennedy Jr., RFK, is flawed. And I don't agree with some of their positions, especially Tulsi Gabbard flip-flopping on Israel. But whoever Trump would have appointed instead of them would have been 10 times worse. Awful, awful people. They would have been awful picks. So I will take these people who are better on most of the issues than, and also flawed, than the awful warhawks Trump could have put in these positions, like he did in his first term. So there you have it. Tulsi Gabbard is the new Director of National Intelligence, confirmed by the U.S. Senate. This is the best choice Trump could have made. And let's just see what she does. I'm very curious to see if she holds to her principles or if she bows down to the deep state. But I'm going to hold a candle to the fact that I believe she will actually stick to her guns, stick to her principles, and abide by the talks and the arguments that she's been making throughout all of these years and throughout her military service.